and welcome to another video of the Writer's Corner, and we are actually at my desk here. This is my little Writer's Corner. Technically, I don't do a whole lot of writing at my desk because, I don't know, I never feel as inspired at my desk as I do other places, but we are here, so my desk, I would open the window, show you the view, but it's very bright out there right now. So anyway, so today I thought I would talk about a little bit about my book and then some stuff that happened last night when I was editing. My book is a young adult fantasy novel about this young woman, Allie, who in her land they have these adventurers. You found ways to build bridges into other dimensions, and they cross over and they start exploring these other lands, and one of them is Earth, and for the next hundreds of years they send over adventurers periodically to just kind of gauge these other lands, and so they created what is called the Human Project. And in her land they also have, when you come of age, you take these tests to determine where you should go and get more training. And so Ellie gets her letter and opens it, and she gets the Human Project. Not something that she's ever wanted to do. She either wanted to join the fairy force and fight alongside her father, or she wanted to help the sick and be a potions creator like her mother. But no, she has to go to Earth and deal with things like going to college. It's the story of her really trying to discover where she belongs and what her purpose in life is, and there's some other menacing things that are in the works for the second book in this duology, and I am absolutely loving these characters. I love the world that I'm creating. I love the romance that's in it. I love everything about my book except this one part. So last night I get to this one part in my book that I literally have skipped over for the past year since I wrote the first draft of this novel in Nano of 2014, and I started working on it I started editing it last March or last April. And the second book in this past November during Nano, and as I've been editing, I get to this one section of this book and I'm like, I don't know how to go about doing this, so I'm just going to skip over it and we'll come back to it. So I have skipped over this so long that this is the last thing that I really have to write and get it to make sense, to get this part here to this part here, get them to connect, and I had no idea. I've been struggling all week trying to decide how I'm going to fix this, how I'm going to meld these two stories together, and how it's going to be good and wonderful. And I decided last night that I'm completely rewriting the ending of the first book. And I deleted 13,000 words, and I'm rewriting the ending. So it took drinking some hard apple cider and my husband holding my hand, and I didn't technically delete it. It's still on my computer, but it's not in my book anymore. The way that I decided to take the book, the direction I'm going to take it, is really the story that I've been wanting to tell all along, but I didn't know how to tell it. And now I figured out how to tell it, and I think it's brilliant. So I am really excited about where I'm going with the book. It was very painful to decide that I was going to completely rewrite the ending. And not just like the last chapter. No, I have to fix a lot of stuff in the beginning of the book, and I cut out, the last 15% of my novel, and part of the next novel has to be changed as well because it won't work. And so it's a lot of work, and I'm kind of scared about it, but I think it's going to be so much better now that it's going to make sense, and there's not going to be the thing. I didn't want it to be really tropey of you having this girl that is the savior or the chosen one. I really didn't want that, because that's not a story that I wanted to tell, and it's a story that's been told way too often. And so I wanted something different. I think I've really come down to it, and I think I've really nailed what this story is supposed to be about, and how it's going to be just this gripping tale of wonderfulness. So I'm really excited. So if you watched my first video, I talked about how I'm going to the RT Book Lovers Convention this year again in April. That's April 13th and 14th, I think. So it is February 12th. My book has to be completed in 2 months. So I have a lot of work to do. So this is my novel here. It's very marked up and loved and a lot of rewrites to happen. But it's going to happen. I have 2 months. I'm really excited about where I'm going with this. So I'll probably have another video. I've decided I'm going to be storyboarding, which is not what I have never done that, but I feel like I really need to be very intricate in my plans now that I'm down to, I think, like this is going to be one of my last drafts before it's going to be seen by anybody else besides me. And so I'm going to have to storyboard, so I'll probably make another video of my process and all of that. So stay tuned. You guys, just remember, when you're reading an amazing novel, remember that it's probably nothing like the first draft. Because let me just tell you that this draft here is probably, I lost count of what draft I'm on. But the story is nothing like it was when I first wrote it in November of 2014. So just know the love and the care and the time and the hurt and the cries and the joys and all of that goes into you getting to read this amazing manuscript of a book. And just know that at one point the author is probably on their floor crying, drinking alcohol. Because that's where I was last night. Okay guys, I hope you're having a great reading month, and I will see you on the flip side. Bye! In my own little corner, in my own little chair, I can be whatever I want to be.